During the Ethereum bull run, the 2060 Super was considered the pinnacle of price to performance for Turing graphics cards as far as GPU mining went. Is it the same now? Unfortunately, the answer is no. This thing is on the 1660 Super and the 2060 level of bad, and unfortunately, it is time to sell it. And in this video, I'm going to show you the numbers that back that up. I'm going to test it on a few different algorithms, and then I'm going to show you hashrate.no's profitability settings with their power settings versus the actual power from the wall and how much money you're actually making or losing. In this case, it's really just losing on these graphics cards at what would be considered a standard American rate of 13 cents per kilowatt hour. Alright guys, here you can see hashrate.no's settings for the 2060 Super and their profitability. Now this is the numbers that they generated. Now, as I've said time and time again, these numbers are not always accurate. However, it's not the worst to use as a baseline. As you can see, Radiant is the most profitable at a 6-cent loss. You've got Dynex at also at a 6-cent loss. Dynex plus Radiant at an 8-cent loss. Ironfish at 11-cent loss. You've got Caspa at 14-cent loss. Ergo at 17-cent loss. Next at a 20-cent loss. You've got an ETH hash coin Octaspace at a 22-cent loss. And it just goes down and down and down. Ethereum Classic at 22-cent loss as well. As you can see, this thing is not profitable. So let's go over my numbers that I got with a 2060 Super that I borrowed from a buddy for the day to mine with. Now I want to give you a disclaimer. I only spent about 15 to 20 minutes on each coin, just dialing it into, I would say, the close enough settings. I would say that everything is within the 95th percentile, and I feel like I did use the best miners. But again, this is only one card. My overclock settings are not necessarily your overclock settings. I did not tune them as much as an enthusiast would maybe have tuned them, and Silicon Lottery notwithstanding. So let's go over my numbers. And I will scroll down as I talk about them so you can see how they're matched up to hashrate.no. So you can see with, we'll start with Nexa first. You can see my Nexa numbers. I got about 45 mega hash, 91% or 91 watts at the software, 105 at the wall, and I used Regal Miner. Then you can see on my Ironfish settings, I've got 8.5 gigahash, 75 watts at the software, 85 watts at the wall using Regal Miner. I did, and it's not on here, but it's an algorithm that I like. I like to dual mine Ergo and Radiant. I got 60 mega hash on Ergo, 250 on Radiant, at 94 watts on the software, 108 watts on the wall using Gminer. Radiant, I got 444 mega hash on the software, or I'm sorry, mining. I got 58 watts on the software, 66 watts at the wall using BZ Miner. And for Caspa, I used LOL Miner. I got about 384 watts at the 384 mega hash with 61 watts at the software, 70 watts at the wall. One thing I did notice that is different from the previous GPUs I tested, the wall readings and the software readings are actually pretty close, within maybe 10%, which is actually pretty impressive, to be honest with you. I haven't seen this for quite a bit. So for this portion of, when showing how unprofitable these miners are, I like to compare the actual profitability loss at 13 cents per kilowatt hour to what you would see on hashrate.no, because the power readings are usually off by quite a bit. However, since the power readings are pretty close, I don't think you're going to see as much of a difference, but these numbers are still pretty bad. So right now, for Nexa, for example, I'm showing you're going to lose about 17 cents per day, and I have to scroll a little bit. I missed it, and it's showing right here that you're losing about 19 to 20 cents per day. So I'm actually showing less of a loss than hashrate.no, which is kind of a first for me. Still, the loss is pretty bad. You don't really want to lose that much per day. Now let's go to Caspa. You can see right here that we're showing pretty equal with hashrate.no, where you're losing 14 cents per day. Ironfish, it's a lot worse. Ironfish is showing a 11 cent per loss day. per day, I'm showing you're going to lose about 25 cents, which is a huge difference. And again, it's always why you want to run these tests, even if the numbers aren't that off on some coins, they could be off on a lot of others. And then Radiant, we're about 9 cents per day loss, whereas hashrate.no is only showing 6 cents per day. So in typical Croupman fashion, after going over those horrible hash rate numbers, I immediately jump over to eBay to see what these things are selling for. So right now it looks like you can sell them for anywhere from about, I don't know, I want to say $140 to $200. And if you can get anywhere near $200 for one of these things, you need to sell them ASAP. You need to sell them right away, and you need to look at 3060 Ti's for what looks like between $275 to $300. If you can pay $75 to upgrade from a 2060 Super to a 3060 Ti as far as mining, I think you've done pretty incredible and are setting yourself up for the next bull run quite well. Because as you guys know, I'm advocating 3060 Ti's, 3070s, and the occasional 40 series GPU for your crypto mining farm. And that's it. You could maybe make an argument for the 3080 and the 3060 12 gigabyte models, but basically 3060 Ti, 3070 or bust right now. And especially when you look at what these 2060 Supers are selling for based on eBay prices, I think now is the time to sell them and to upgrade. Now, obviously, I know you have to pay tax on eBay and everything's not that simple, but these numbers show that, if you can almost do, three 2060 Supers to two 3060 Ti's, I think in terms of efficiency and hash rate, you are doing a good job. So in conclusion, 2060 Super is just a glorified 2060 right now, which is not good. It tends to do most of the core algorithms very similar to the 2060. Obviously we know there's a pretty big memory improvement as far as memory algos, but we're not really mining ETH anymore, and those days are long over. There are better coins for memory algos, and you frankly should be leveraging the quite oddly high price of the 2060 Super right now in the used market to sell it and upgrade to new GPUs. It's time to leave these Turing GPUs behind. They serve their purpose. They serve them well. It is time to move on. There's no reason to keep these anymore, in my humble opinion. Now remember, at the end of the day, all these videos are just my opinion with what I think are sufficient enough facts to hopefully convince as many of you as I possibly can that it's time to sell these things and to upgrade to newer GPUs. So thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe for more content like this. I know your time is valuable, so thank you for spending it with me. Croupman, out.